Let's rock and go. Hello and welcome everybody to the Section 109 podcast. I'm here with Matthew, Sir Mix-a-Lot, hi buddy, Juan, Bobble Juan, who is now officially retired, and Toby, who's here somewhere, and we are here, Matthew, to do some recaps on some games that are due.
Yeah,
recaps are due. The games have already been done.
We took a week off, so
it is that time of the year where both of us are quite busy, and me especially, and yeah, so I am so happy to be back in here and chatting. So let's start with the friendly, yeah?
So yeah, we're gonna start with.
So who is Apotheos or whatever the hell their name is, and why? What did we play them for?
So we're gonna start as a little housekeeping item, because the Apotheos game or Apotheos or whoever they are.
I like how we've willfully not learned their name.
is the first game that we haven't gotten to yet. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna cover this game, and then we're gonna cover Club de Lyon. That'll be the men's pod. Then we'll go back and we'll do the 865 Alliance, the Knoxville WPSL game, and then cover the WPSL away game in the next pod. And then a little surprise for you a little bit later this week.
Absolutely. It's going to be a week full of podcasts. If you had plans, well, you still have plans. You don't have to listen. It's fine.
But I hope they involve like driving or working out or something where you plan to listen to us. So let's get into it. Apotheos is an NPSL team in Kennesaw-ish area, Georgia, coached by former CFC player Adam Reeks.
Oh, he gets the full one.
So that's cool. I mean, like that's why. Like that's not the reason why we're playing them. The reason why we're playing them is because NISA does not provide enough games, and I hope that situation changes soon. But that's neither here nor there. So, look, that game. In case you don't actually know, and I had to think about it for a second, which is why I took that long pregnant pause there. That game actually finished 3-2 in favor of Apotheos. Yeah. Here's the thing. We scored 2 goals. One in the later stages of the first half. One fairly early in the second half. And then lots of substitutions got made. I think there were a few subs at halftime. There were some more line change subs.
Looks like 4 at halftime, by the way. I'm counting them here.
Probably 4 subs at halftime and another 4 in like the 60th, 66th minute, somewhere in there.
3 in the 66th and 1 in the 82nd.
Yeah, and that 82nd minute sub would be
an actual child,
a CFC Academy player for one of the children that were stepping in from whatever that youth club is that we got a few players that have been practicing a little bit with the team, and now and then.
Well, listeners will remember last time we potted, we talked about the kid with the great hair and how electric they were in the Juan game. So there were 4 of those players rostered for the Juan game, and 2 of them played.
In that game.
Well,
all 4 of them
played in this game.
And that is not including like Hugo and Fabian, who were rostered. And then Gavin Castle, a CFC Academy player, also played for the last few minutes of this game. Like this game was on the road. It was helping us fill a little bit of a gap in the schedule, helping get some minutes for some young players, obviously, that we want to have a better look at, getting some minutes for some guys that have not seen a lot of action in the league. We'll play them in a home game in August to help make up the number of home games that we promised to fans. And that's that. It's a friendly. It doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure we conceded 3 goals while up a man. But if you really think about it, we were down about 5 men.
Well, because they were children.
Because they were children, yes.
So let's go with the starting lineup, Matthew. I have it here in front of me, so I'll read it. And full disclosure, I have not watched this game.
Neither did I, by the way.
You don't watch any of it?
I saw the goals, and then I just stopped.
It's a friendly, and we should have watched it, but Man, it's been such a ridiculously busy couple weeks.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the parts that actually matter. Starting lineup, Jonathan Burke in goal, got the whole game.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Deserved the minutes.
Yep.
Said this leading into it. Jung Woo So at right back. Side note, he played a little center back in the second half, which is wild. Sebastian Capozzucci, unsurprising to see him get a 90, well-deserved, and also like good to get minutes for sharpness because he's an experienced player and he's been playing in midfield all season, like 5 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 10 minutes there. So getting it 90 minutes at center back can't be anything but good for his like fitness and sharpness.
He is a center back by trade, but we've been using him helping close out games when we go to a box in midfield as one of the center defensive.
Well, because all
options.
of our midfielders are injured.
Well, there's that.
Oh well, our central defensive midfielder is injured, and then our other anyway. Ethan Corin's injured, and Ali Jaime injured.
I'm
as well.
glad you actually specified about Ethan because I was like, Dixon's not injured. I already forgot about Ethan. I'm sorry.
How dare you? You're a bad guy, and that's Russian Tony Cruz to you. Aiden Bowers started at left center back.
Yep.
Got 45. Hugo Martinez came in the 45th for him, and I believe played right back.
Correct.
With Jung Woo So rotating over to right center back, and Sebastian Capozzucci going to left center back.
Correct.
Capozzucci also got a goal. That we'll get to in a little bit. Joseph Perez started at left back, and then at a kid, I'm actually just going to say his first name because I don't know how, we figured out some names here, but I don't know how public they're supposed to be. A kid named Costas played at left back, and they still listed them as just numbers, right?
What's that?
They listed them as just numbers on their lineup graphic, right?
There was no lineup graphic. They were not included in the lineup graphic anywhere.
Well, we learned his name is Costas, and we'll just leave it at that. I believe he is a 2007, meaning he is 17 or about to be 17, which is crazy.
Yeah.
No, sorry, he's 16, about to be 17. Or it could be 15 turning 16, but I believe I heard Rod told me he was 16. Central defensive midfielder Richard Dixon, and then child number 28, who we did not ever learn his name, came in the 66th for Richard Dixon with Gavin Castle. Shout out CFC, and that was public, I think, as people posting about it on Twitter. A actual CFC Academy kid who's like grown up and played in the academy and whatever else, getting a reward there in the 82nd, which is very, very cool. Alex McGrath, then Mumu came in the 45th, and I'm assuming played centrally as well, or do you know? You don't even know, you son of a bitch. Beto Alvarenga came out, started, but then came out he got a goal as well. He came out in the 66th for child number 29, excuse me, whose name we do not know. Right winger Damian Rodriguez, kind of unsurprising there. The very, very fun kid with the fun hair, whose name is Hassan, we learned, came in the 66th. I need to go back and watch the last little bit of this game. I just didn't get it done because I would like to see if he did dirty things again to those defenders. Juan Luis started at left wing, and Fabian Rodriguez came in the 45th, and then Lenny Lopez played 90 starting at striker. So we had, first of all, a lot of subs there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 subs, which is good.
Technically 9.
No, that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted the kid who subbed out as one of them.
Wait, so who was it? Burke, Lenny Lopez, Sebastian Capozzucci, and Jung Woo So
played the full.
All went 90.
All went 90, yeah. And look, so the first part is it's really good for them to get minutes, right? It's really good for those guys to get 90 minutes in their legs for sharpness, for fitness, for all the things. It's very good. First game they haven't had to run for not all of them, but like first game in a while that Sebastian or whoever else has had to run the sprints after the game for everyone who's trying to keep fitness. Second of all, it's just really good for some guys who haven't had a chance. Like if they get called upon, you want them to be sharp.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Burke in particular, as a goalkeeper who had up until this point had 0 minutes on the season, right? I'm correct in that. So
not since preseason.
So it was good to get him some minutes there. And then Jung Woo's had some minutes, but Sebastian has not had 90 at any point during the season. So both of those were very, very good. All right, where do you want to go in your talking points for Apotheos?
I'll just mention the goals. One of them comes off of a corner kick. Short corner routine. McGrath shoots the ball in.
Really, a short corner routine?
Yeah, we've never seen that before. McGrath shoots it in kind of from the top of the box, and it's saved. There's a bit of a scramble. Capozzucci is the one that gets his foot on it, puts it back in the net. Second goal comes from a Fabian Rodriguez throw-in over to Lenny, who passes it, kind of squares it for Beto Alvarenga. Alvarenga has a nice shot from some distance, maybe around the 18 or so, and that's 2-0. And then we started making subs not too long after that, and I wasn't there. Shout out to Tom Gonzalez and for keeping all the subs and things for me, because at that point in time the stream was not working. But
it does exist now.
So they actually recorded a local copy.
Because unlike Rochester, fuck you, Rochester, they were good enough to record, or smart enough to record, a local copy as well. So when the internet crapped out, it was okay because they have a full upload to do later.
Honestly, that's well.
Have I mentioned fuck Rochester?
I don't know if that's in the NISA operations manual or not, or if anyone actually reads that, but there it was. So yeah, that's. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this game. The game does not matter, quite frankly. It was in front of us, so we used it to accomplish some goals. But like, this game does not matter.
Goals,
and in the slightest.
So yeah, I'll give you my one key takeaway. So we're gonna do 3 for this episode, 1 for this game, and it's basically what we have said like 6 times now talking about this game. The result doesn't matter, but they are important for young players getting minutes. Whether that's the 4 young players that we brought in that are training with the first team, or guys like Hugo and Fabian who deserve to get 45 minutes, or again the guys that we talked about like Jung Woo-so and Sebastian Capozzucci and Jonathan Burke who getting that 90 minutes is good, and Lenny as well. But I feel like, I don't know, Lenny's already started one game, the Juan game, right? Yeah, Lenny already started the Juan game, so I feel like he's got a few more minutes. But my point being is, like, these are important, these are good. The result doesn't matter. Forget about the result. It wouldn't matter if we lost 4-0 or we won 4-0. We avoided injuries and we got some guys some minutes. It's perfect. It's a great game. It's an important game to have in the calendar, and we'll also get a home game out of it later.
Yeah, I'll use my one key on this one to say that, like, it's also a product of how awful NISA is as a league, that teams have like 3-week gaps between league games, when there was absolutely no reason to do that. They could have made the schedule tighter.
And you know how we know there's no reason to do that? Because we haven't had to take the capo stand down for this whole 3-week off, meaning we didn't have football games going on at Finley Stadium during this time, American football games that we couldn't work around or whatever else. They make us take down the capo stand for those things. Ostensibly, there's nothing huge going on at Finley Stadium during this time.
No, it's just like other teams have had this too. Like, they just have a massive break for whatever reason. And I get that part of it's because there's an odd number of teams in the league. But so many of these teams are playing midweek matches on their travel excursions that you can get these games in pretty darn fast. And it's lazy scheduling. I mean, look at the back-to-backs that we have with Maryland, that we have with LA Force coming up later this season. It's crazy, and it's just, they're not professional. And if with all luck in the sky, they won't exist very long.
Jesus, that was dark, but not incorrect. All right, let's move on to the Club de Lyon match, Matthew. This one I did watch. This one was fun.
Fun's one word for it.
This one was fun because it was really, really, really cagey, and we didn't play that well. And in the end, we still didn't lose.
That's your definition of fun?
That free kick was a lot of joy. So look, I mean, we'll talk about, some of maybe how we weren't as good as we'd like to be. And we can talk about, maybe some of where we are in the season and whatever else, because we're 10 games in. But overall, bad teams lose that game. Good teams draw that game. Great teams win that game. I don't know if we're a great team yet. Maybe. But I tell you what, we are a really good team, because even in a game we didn't play very well, our offense didn't play very well, because it's not fair. Our defense, the goal they scored was on a goalkeeper error, and our defense was good overall. But our offense wasn't, and still a great player makes a great play, and we tie the game. And sometimes you just need great players to make great plays.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, players have to make plays. Whether it's putting a good ball in on a cross, whether it's a nice finish, whether it's a big save, whether it's just a defender making a block, or a big open field tackle from like somewhere. Like players got to make plays.
Not Joseph Perez, excuse me. Aiden Bowers had a couple of those during this game.
Yeah,
a couple. Running out into space. He's really good at stepping, and boy, did he have a couple big steps in this game.
So I think,
and we held their superstar forward to nothing.
Well, that's because he sucks, but that's not the point. Look, we didn't give up basically anything this game. The goal comes on, like you said, a goalkeeper error, and if you take that aside,
they have one like okay chance that Jean makes a save on at the end. They have a break when we're pushing
right at the very very end. Actually, that was the last play of the game, and I just it's one of those games where, in the moment it feels good to come back and tie it up, especially because you haven't played well. I think in totality, I look at it and I'm a little
gonna be Debbie Downer.
I'm a little frustrated because of, yes, it was 3 weeks since our last league game, and yes, that's going to lead to a little bit lack of sharpness. And frankly, like the thing. Like, was the midfield good? Yes, the midfield was borderline dominant. The trio. Was the defense good? Yeah, absolutely. Didn't give up hardly anything. Snuffed out stuff when things came up. Did their job. And there were. I feel like there was a lacking of just like quality. So when teams come to Findlay, they put 11 behind the ball. We know how this works. And it's up to us to break them down, to be patient, to make the right passes, to be sharp with it, to play the ball to the right foot or to the left foot, like the correct foot, to have a good first touch, to know where...
To be on the same page as the guy you're passing it to, so they don't turn and run as you're trying to play the ball over top. They don't turn and cut in when you play the ball to the other side.
And just frankly, we weren't
in sync.
We weren't in sync at all. And
offensively,
and that's that's gonna be a problem that has to be addressed. There's you've got the LA Force game coming up on the weekend. You've got the Michigan Stars game after that. Then you get another big weird break, and actually the rest of the season is a big weird break until you get to September. And they're just gonna have to figure it out and be a little bit more sharp and be a little bit more clinical, because there were some shots early in that game. There was like 5 shots in the first 30 minutes for us. I wouldn't say anything was incredibly high percentage, but there were some chances early. And this is a team that plays better with a little bit of space. And
us, you mean?
Yes, us. And just, taking advantage of what the defense gives you before they begin to get some belief is really important, because it's going to allow those gaps to open up and can turn a cagey game into a much more open and fun and kind of blowout type game.
So one thing before we get to lineups, circle back to lineups. Welcome back, Nick Nelson.
Oh yeah, on the bench and on the field. If you think about it, his jersey was on the field. He was on the bench.
Was it actually say Nelson on the back of his jersey, or just have no name on it?
Nelson had Nelson on the back of his jersey. The keeper that was actually playing in goal also had Nelson on the back of his jersey.
It's embarrassing, Club de Lyon. It's embarrassing. And also, maybe Nick Nelson gets that free kick. You know why? You might know where it's going.
It's
played against Markus. Okay, let's go over these starting lineups. Back to kind of after the Apotheos game, which was very much a different starting lineup. We are back to kind of our normal thing. Goalkeeper Jean-Antoine, right back Colin Stripling, right center back Anatoly Prepelica, left center back Aiden Bowers, left back Joseph Perez, subbed out for Lenny Lopez in the 84th. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. Central defensive midfielder Richard Dixon, central midfielder Alex McGrath, central midfielder Beto, who came out for Luis Garcia Sosa in the 70th. Right winger Juan Louis, left winger Mutai Mwape, shout out Mumu, and we got to do the Moo Moo song. He took a beating in that game and came out injured. His arm was in a sling, and I saw him at Jenny Brink Company, and he was worried about his shoulders. So fuck you, Orlando, and Orlando-ish, wherever you guys are from, and because they play in Daytona Beach, I think. Damian Rodriguez came in the 60th for Moo Moo. Markus started and went 90, and our goal was scored by Markus Nagelstad, free kick, unassisted, in the 92nd minute on a Richard Dixon dribble and go, which was awesome. Also, Markus took it an entire 2 yards back from where the foul occurred. I rewatched, and that referee can shut up, and all of Club de Lyon can shut up. Also, on the stream, you can see Lenny Lopez arguing with their team, telling them to shut up. I don't know what they were saying or what smack they were talking, but if you made Lenny Lopez mad, who seems like the nicest guy on the field, that he's always helping people up and being sweet, you're probably being a real jerk. Anyway, let's get into some more. We already talked actually a big chunk about the game, but
yeah. Well, I want to interject on the Moo Moo substitution for Damien. It comes off a play where Moo Moo's making a move into the box, and I forget if there's a ball that's played for him or it's kind of over the top or whatever it is, but he does not have possession of the ball. He's running onto the ball, and it's inside the box, and a Club de Lyon player just steps in front of him,
cleans him out,
basically takes a charge, but also with a hand outstretched. And that's the reason why I think he's concerned about his shoulder. It's clear obstruction. It's a clear penalty. But things don't get called oftentimes ever
in this league, especially.
Yeah. And that's I just wanted to mention that. Also, there's a great picture on social media of some of the photos from the game, and you can see Juan Louis, who is clearly in the box, and he's being just straight up shirt tugged, pulled back.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
And that's just one of those things.
Is he in our box or their box?
He's in our box. I mean, he's in the. You drag a person by the shirt, that's a penalty in that box.
I did not realize he was in the box. I've seen that picture. I did not realize he was in the box.
Yeah, that's first half.
So look, let's. Their goal comes off of a free kick that's a goalkeeper error. It bounces off Sean's hands. He would, I'm sure, tell you you could see from after the game he should have caught it, or parried it if he couldn't catch it, but he could catch it.
He could catch that, yeah.
So look, it's one of those things. Sometimes the problem with being a goalkeeper is that occasionally you make an error, and unfortunately, you have to get real lucky for someone to clean up for you. You can make errors as a defender. You can make errors in the midfield. You make errors as a forward. You can't make any errors as the goalkeeper. It's a harsh thing, and he's still a really good goalkeeper. I'm not worried about it. He'll bounce back. But, it's just one of those things that can happen sometimes. And it happened in this game. And
it's unfortunate that it happened in a game where we already weren't playing well. Where,
offensively.
This team is good enough to score 2 goals in against your garden variety, 5 weeks away from folding NISA team. And
Matthew, every team in NISA is 2 weeks away from folding.
That it comes in a game where they're not playing well. We're not playing well as a whole on the offensive side of the ball, and it's a game where that mistake causes us to go down 1-0. That's just one of those stupid things about sports.
This game could have been 4-0 us in a different reality, and then we allow the 1 goal to make it 4-1, and it doesn't matter.
So look, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it.
Let's not spend any more time on it.
It's just
things that happen over the course of the season. Let's talk about our goal.
Okay, Markus did Markus shit. There,
tell me about it.
We've talked about it. It's just
that's 2 games against Club de Lyon, and that's 2 long.
Oh yeah, that
long.
Is. Yeah. It's just one of those things
kicks.
where he's pretty far back. He's probably 28 yards back or so. I mean, he's out there. And the thing about Markus that we've said for a long time is that one of the things that just makes him special and elite for this level is his ability to hit the ball.
Dead balls.
And
shooting in particular.
Yeah, just not even dead balls, just shooting in general.
True,
his ability to strike a ball.
It's
and one of the biggest weapons, especially when we're not playing that well or we're still struggling to really connect in the final third, is you also have to be like as a defense playing against CFC, you can't just foul us. Like fouling is a legitimate strategy, and it gets more perilous the closer you get to the box, obviously. But like it's a problem if you foul us anywhere in Marcus's range, which is pretty far back. Because he's shown us time and time again,
also pretty close,
multiple times this season, that he's gonna hit, like he can hit the target.
Don't forget they put the ball on the 18 and he scored from the top of the 18.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a pretty wide range of space that he's got that he can work with, and it's a brilliant free kick. It may be the best one I've seen him ever take.
Yeah. So you said you believed, golly, you said pre-recording when we were setting up. You said you think this is the best free kick Markus has taken for CFC and the best free kick goal he scored for CFC. Is that still the case?
I think so.
I disagree. I think he had a better one 2 weeks ago, or whatever.
The Maryland home game.
Yeah. So the reason I think so is I think he takes it just a tiny bit early. They're not quite ready or something, and he gets it. Because they don't jump, and he manages to. Maybe they told him not to jump. I don't know, but he manages to get it up and down from like the ball sitting on the 18-yard line. That being said, this is unbelievable, and it almost hits the ground as it's going in the...
He put it in the one spot that the keeper could not get to. Yep. And the keeper was already cheating that side.
Yep. Now, if you haven't seen it, there's a bunch of good angles online.
It's phenomenal.
There's the CFC wrap-up of it, which has got like several different good angles, and man, it feels good.
And like it's such an important goal for the team. Like, number one, team's still undefeated. That's great. I don't want to belabor that point because I'm superstitious as hell. But like it's the feeling, especially at home, of like rescuing something that could have gone horribly wrong.
Rescuing
like,
a draw from the jaws of defeat.
I don't think. I mean, like, we created more than Club de Lyon did, but like honestly, we didn't create that much.
Man, if that Luis curler.
Yeah. But like,
I went back and rewatched that.
Let's come back to like we didn't overly create a ton of stuff. Like,
no,
a 0-0 draw in that game would have been frustrating as hell, but also like not undeserved on the whole. And part of that's the standards that I'm putting on us, that we need to be proactive and responsible and go after things and get the job done. That's what you do when you're the attacking team. That's what you do when you're the team that has all the possession. And so like, it wasn't just the free kick to equalize. It was also like righting a mistake of a teammate, which is so important in sports because mistakes are going to happen.
And you see after the game, Richard is immediately to Jean's side when he sits down on the ball and he's just sitting there when the game ends, right after it ends, and then you see Jean immediately goes over there, then Anatoly goes over there, then Colin goes over there, and then Markus goes over there. Like the whole team's like picking him up, but Markus did it twice. Markus did it. There's no disrespect to anybody else. Markus did it twice.
Yeah,
he did it literally and figuratively on the field with his hands, like giving him some encouragement, but also literally with scoring that goal out of when the game was basically over. I mean, they were not playing to let us score. Like they were clearing everything as far as they could, and Richard takes a great touch, and we get one little side of goal, and Markus does Markus shit.
Yeah, I man, that if Luis Garcia Sosa had dropped that curler in, I think we would have all lost our minds.
It would have felt really vindicated. I would have felt really vindicated, especially or like righteously vindicated, because like Club de Lyon was annoying, surrounding the referee at all times. In fact, there's a part on the rewatch that I didn't rewatch the whole thing, but I watched the highlights or whatever, or I watched part of a goal or whatever I watched. But where Prepelica steps in front and like blocks off like four of their players from like verbally assaulting the referee because they're all surrounding him, and he's like gives them a little bit of a breather. And it's just, man, they were annoying, and I really wanted them to lose.
Yeah, well,
it was another one of those cases where it was their Super Bowl.
Every game that teams play in Findlay is going to be their Super Bowl. It's the most important. It's the most high profile game they will ever play. And frankly, every team that comes to Findlay Stadium for the rest of the year, with Lord willing and the creek don't rise, it's their last game ever at Findlay Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please, God, let this happen.
Or maybe some of them will join us and play a friendly when they're playing in the UPSL. All right, Matthew, I have 2 key takeaways from this that kind of already go with what we've talked about. But do you want to do yours first?
No, because I have to come up with mine still.
Okay. So I already said this pretty much word for word. Great players make great plays. That was a massive moment from Markus.
Yeah.
It is it may not be the moment of the season so far because there's been a few other big moments, including his other free kick that he scored to make it 1-0, or did that make it 1-1 and then we scored one after that?
You're referring to the goal at Maryland or the free kick at home against
the free
Maryland?
kick at home.
1-0.
1-0. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it is the biggest moment of the season, although it did feel like that. But it is the photo of the season.
Yeah.
The photo from the other side of Markus running towards Rod and Rod with his arms outstretched, and that celebration, man, goosebumps, dude.
Yeah.
It's the photo of the season. That's going to be one that when we look back in 2, 3, 4 seasons, it'll be one of every season has a few really, really good photos, and that will be one of the top 3 to 5.
Oh, for sure.
Even if we win a title and whatever else in dramatic fashion, that one will be amongst those because of how great it is.
Yep.
So that's the first piece. Great from Markus. It's great from Richard to pick up that ball, take 2 steps, know the contact's coming when he sticks his leg out, make sure it happens, make sure he goes down. Like it's veteran moves from veteran players and great players making great plays.
Yep.
That's the first piece. Second piece is we're 10 games in, Matthew. And this is actually more of a talking point, so I'd like to talk a little bit about it. But this is, we can start to take real stock of who we are and what we are doing. Something Rod said that we talked about last year was that we asked him how far do you think we are? How far do you think we got to go? And we were feeling pretty good. This is when we were in our big stretch of winning in that first little bit of the season. And he goes, we're 50% of the way. As far as how good we can be. We're 50% of the way. And I don't know what we'll get to. I don't know if we'll get to 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever we'll get to, but we are 50% of the way. I'm going to take a inspiration from that. And I'm going to say, I think our offense is about 30% of the way in of where it could get to because of injury and because of whatever else.
I might go lower than that, but I'll see you.
30 of 100, of a possible 100. I think our defense, on the other hand, is about 75. I think our defense is really, really, really good. And we're not allowing anything. We've allowed 2 goals from the run of play and 1 goal from a penalty. And the penalty goal was dubious.
Yep.
This goal in this game was a goalkeeper error. And the other
goal was dubious as well.
Now look, we've had a few moments that John's made some big saves, right?
Yeah.
And we have the worldy goal against Birmingham. It's not that we couldn't have on the balance of play given up a few more goals, but our defense is real fucking good.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very happy. If the defense might only get to 75 or 80 for the whole season. That might be the top where they top out, right? That's fine. That's going to be good enough to win us a NISA championship. I'm not saying we're going to, but that's going to be good enough to win us a NISA championship. What has to happen now is we have to get healthy and the offense has to come around. Matthew, what are your thoughts, now that I've given you mine, on the offense and defense and where we are with 100 points being possible? And we're only 10 games in, so it's just the time that we can, the arbitrary time we've given ourselves to start making some judgments.
I think the defense has, and I'm not speaking about Jean, the back four, and Richard, for example. When I'm thinking defense, I'm thinking as a team defending from the front, all the way back. I don't think we're near 75%, to be honest. I thought that maybe 2 hours ago when you first posed this idea to me, so I could think about it.
You're a negative Nancy.
I am. I think we've got a ways to go. I think our defenders from Richard and that back four and even John, they do such a good job cutting out trouble. And that's good and that's necessary and that's needed. I think we could do better defensively as a collective from the front a little bit. I think we still have that open tendency that I was really worried about last year. The difference is we are open and then we close up shop and we take the ball away and we have to go march up the field again. I would really like to see us stop more opposition attacks before midfield. And I don't mean like as in like in the forwards or the midfielders. I mean like before halfway. I would like us to go from, I feel like so much until like the inclusion of Lenny late in games when we're chasing. Think Savannah. Think Club de Lyon. I would like we once like Lenny gets subbed on, we go to that back three, and I'm not saying we do this for the whole game, but like it's that feeling of like they're full on bunkered, they're only clearing the ball to midfield, and it's just wave after wave after wave of pressure. And in both of those games, we've gotten something from the game. We've come back, we've gotten something from the game. That's not going to happen. Like that's not a realistic thing to happen for 90 minutes straight. But what I want to see is a better defending earlier up the field so that we can pin teams in a little bit more for maybe it's a 60-second stretch here or a 2-minute stretch there. Just a little bit more. I think that'll take some of the pressure off of our build-up, which has struggled at times. I think it'll create some mismatches. I think a great example of this is away at Maryland, where that really both of those goals come from like us taking Beto usually taking a shot, but like the ball not being cleared, so you've got players in dynamic positions ready for something to happen, and then it's just like the pressure is still on, pass goal. And I want to see more of that. I think
if you want to see
further.
If you want to see a team that's open, let's press like that. Because
no,
we're going to get
no.
absolutely skewered.
It's not about pressing. It's about
no. Those are moments where a team drops back and is no longer trying to get forward, and we are pressing because we're imposing our will. There's like 3 teams in the entire world that play like that, that can keep that kind of pressure, and that's just not. It's not what you're asking for. Is being absolutely unrealistic, but you're free to be so. But Jesus Christ, dude,
I want
a team that has allowed 0 good goals on the season, and I wish our defense was better. Like you're out of your fucking mind.
I want to see just a little bit more, because I think that little bit more will help take the pressure off of the offensive side of the ball, which is frankly struggling. We've scored enough goals by and large. We've got 7 wins and 3 draws. Like we've scored enough goals on the balance. But this team has some heights that it is not truly realized. This team,
you're taking the offensive failings and throwing them on the defense for no reason.
I think defense leads to offense, especially in this league.
Also, your attackers are the ones who you're complaining about their defense, whereas our defenders haven't allowed anything all season.
Yeah,
and you're penalizing our defenders, which is
no. I never said I was penalizing the defenders.
You are penalizing our defenders because the defense is mostly made up of the defenders. I
want to be clear, which I was, and you just decided to ignore that. That when I say defense, I mean from the front.
You're trying to say
everybody.
Our defense is already the thing that's overachieving. You're trying to say you want to make up for all of our offensive struggles by making our defense even better.
Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
So what's your number?
Defensively? I will give it. We are at 10 games in. We've got 14 more to go. I'll give it 50%. I think it's further along than the offense. I don't think that's any crazy amount, but I still think the defense has further to go, or not. I guess not further than the offense to go, but it's got a ways it still needs to go to really go to the next level. And I think that if the defense goes to the next level, it's going to help the offense also move up, even without any personnel changes or injury recoveries or anything like that.
And the offense?
I mean, like 25, 30, 20. The offense has a long way to go. I don't think Markus is getting enough shots. Markus is not the type of player that like will create 4 shots for himself in a game. He needs service, and I think connecting build up to attack, connecting. I think Rod put it pretty well in the press conference. Connecting, what do you say, danger to chances, or it was something along those lines. We've talked about danger adjacent forever and how we need to be dangerous. We are still not dangerous, and we rarely were dangerous in that Club de Lyon game. Like, they've got a long way to go. We're not getting enough one-on-one situations. We're not converting those one-on-one situations, which is a huge key that we talked about at the beginning of the season for this team. So I think they've got a ways to go.
Well, we agree on the offense. We do not agree on the defense. I think you're smoking something and I don't know about it. Okay. Those are my 2 things. The 10 games in, where are we? And which is both a question and my statement on that. And then great players make great plays, and that goal was created by great players doing great plays. Do you have 2 things?
Yeah, I mean, I already said one of them. We need to see more out of. We need to see more from the offensive side of the ball. We need to better connect and like leverage our key moments, our key isolations, and things like that. We've just got to be sharper on the offensive side of the ball to be able to create more danger and create better situations where we have better chances of scoring. And if we do that, if we can do that consistently and regularly, then this team's going to be unfucking believable. But if we don't do that, then we're going to struggle in some games. And do I think we have the talent to pull a lot of those games out? Yes. Or are we going to have to rely on Markus to hit a wonder free kick or something? Yeah, probably. But that's a club I like having in the bag. I don't want that to be the only club in the bag.
We agree. And if we're going to win a NISA title this year,
we're going to need all kinds of things to go in our favor.
We don't just need things to go in our favor. We need the offense to play better.
Yeah.
Because going to penalties is not fair. We don't need to go to penalties. We need to be winning in regulation.
Right.
So,
my third key, and I'm going to let my third key be a bridge into a little bit of news. It's no secret that, like, with Taylor's injury, and like Damian has been injured and Mumu has been injured at times this season,
and Luis has been injured, and we have all these other injuries.
Yeah, we've been thin,
but especially at winger.
But especially at winger, we've been thin, and winger has at times, especially after Taylor's injury, struggled to really create a lot of stuff, which was Taylor Gray's fucking specialty. Like, get him the ball one-on-one.
Hey, still is. He's not dead, you asshole.
And let him do some magic. And in turn, what we saw early in the season is whoever was playing opposite of him had a little bit more space opened up, because the defense is always going to collapse on Markus, and they were occupying more of Taylor Gray's time or defender's time.
Yeah, they were trying to collapse 2 and 2, and you take 4 players out of the play like that.
And the wild thing is that, Taylor, for a stretch at the beginning of the regular season,
was just beating those 2
guys.
Was
just doing it anyway. Which I think it's a big reason why Mumu had some success and why Damian had some success early. And one way I should give credit to.
I would also argue that Mumu and Damian were a little sharper pre-injury.
Yes.
And neither one has quite reached their, I don't know, they just haven't quite hit that stride. I don't know if there's still a nagging injury or if it's just sharpness and it'll come. I mean, we're still only 10 games in. Yeah. We are still only 10 games in.
So, like, but winger is, I think, the place where I want to see, like, the biggest jump in form. Yes. And I think if that happens, it takes the whole team to a whole new level.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads us straight into the signing of Jesus Ibarra.
Welcome, Jesus. Or Jesus.
Welcome, Jesus.
Hey, let Jesus into your lineup and your heart.
So, for those that may not know much about him, he played the last 2 years in League One for Greenville.
Parts of the last 3.
He played the last 2 years in League One at Greenville.
He played the last 4? Part of the last 4?
He played 2020 for Charleston Battery.
2019, he also played at Greenville.
No. In 2019, he was playing in Sweden. In 2018, he played for a fellow NPSL side, Greenville FC.
Is that where I got his transfer marked? Fucked up?
Probably.
Keep going.
So
he's played at Finley Stadium before with Greenville FC.
He has played at Finley Stadium before. I have confirmed that through some old video. He's an interesting player. He's he can get a goal. I think his best quality.
It's worth $100K according to the transfer market, by the way, which is pretty good.
I think his best quality is his assisting ability.
How are you going to ignore my good joke like that?
I'm just going to ignore you.
Oh, that was Green. You're right. That was the other Greenville. I just saw Greenville twice in a row.
Can somebody out there, like a producer or somebody, clip the thing where he goes, "Oh yeah, you're right."
Fuck. Yeah, you were right. You were right. I was wrong. I apologize.
His highlights
2018 Greenville, 2019 Sweden, 2020 Charleston Battery for a minute, by the way. That was a COVID year.
He said, by the way, like I hadn't just said that a minute ago.
And then without a club for a little while, then Greenville for
he joined
2
Greenville
years.
like a month or two into the season, spent the whole season.
And by the way,
there.
if y'all haven't watched his highlights, I know I'm just completely just running over what you were trying to say. If you watch his highlights, he's got a 29-minute highlight or 19-minute highlight.
19 minutes, yeah.
You only got to watch the first 30 seconds. They are electric.
But the fun,
you should watch all of it.
The fun for me is where like there's sections a lot of times highlight packages will be like, here are the goals, here are the assists, and then it's a hodgepodge of everything else, and you get full sections where it's like, here's how he beat a guy off the dribble and put a ball in, or here's this like build up ball or like final ball that doesn't result in an assist, but it does result in a shot. And the thing that stands out to me the most is his service on the ground, in the air, whatever. This is a guy who I think directly addresses our issue from the wings of being able to not win those one-on-one matchups and be able to provide some service, whether it's creativity through the dribble or through the pass. And I don't want to put unrealistic expectations on this guy. This is his first week of training.
We believe.
I assume he's going to be available for selection on Saturday. But like,
are they posting pictures from training still?
Occasionally.
I need to look and see if we see him. I know allegedly he was supposed to be in on Monday, but
so like I just want to I don't think we're going to go out and score 5 goals against LA Force. God, I'd love to be wrong about that.
Oh, please.
But if we do, I would imagine he's a central contributor to that kind of thing. I just think it's important to remember that guys coming in mid-season need time to learn their teammates' names, to learn the system, to really pick up things. We don't know where his fitness is for example, as well. I will say he did play in the TST,
which had rolling subs.
Yeah, he played for the Duke Sevens in TST. Scored 3 goals in that tournament, so maybe he comes in reasonably sharp. And we were told that he wore 58 for the Duke Sevens, and decided to keep it.
That's fun.
And wear 58 for CFC.
That's really silly, and he should have picked
hilarious.
He should have picked a more regular number, but I will allow it since the 7 and the 11 are already taken.
I think it's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Well, I welcome Jesus. I am very excited to have an additional winger. Winger depth has been a problem. Winger play has been a problem, mostly due to injury, I believe. And so as Taylor is still not healthy, as Damien is coming back from multiple injuries. Mumu may be out injured again, hopefully not, but like based on the other day, man, that is going to potentially be a really, really big and important signing. And I couldn't agree more about the lack of creation from the wing since Taylor went out. It's just not been the same. And so, I mean, hopefully this guy can replicate a little bit of what Taylor was doing, or at least in moments, and we can start the offense can start clicking again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matthew, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything left to say about these last 2 games?
These last 2 games isn't the previous ones. No, not really. I mean, not really.
Every team goes through ups and downs. Every team slumps. Every team, hits highs. I think we're slumping right now a little bit. I'm not worried. I don't think people should be worried. I don't think listeners should be worried. And I think we should be excited for what's to come as we get a new player in, as we start. I saw Ale Jaimes. He said he's a few weeks away. Ethan Corin, I saw him walking well. I don't know how many weeks away he is, but we might start getting some players back. This is a good time of the year, Matthew.
Yeah,
it's a really good
absolutely.
time of the year. Listeners, thank you for listening. Viewers, thank you for viewing. Comment if you have any questions. Sean Weldon, I haven't forgot about your question. We will talk soon. Peace.